Pretty brisk morning, about 40 degrees right now. So we're gonna go over to the garden, and today we're gonna start planting the lettuce and getting things ready first before we can. It's gonna take a little bit of time, maybe an hour or two. And then after that, put the seeds in the ground. Right, Roscoe? Ready to play? So this is the area of the garden we're going to work on today. So I've got to punch the holes in the plastic, put the soil in the holes, get them soaked, and then go ahead and put the seeds in. So let's get started. All right, so we got all the soil put into the holes in the plastic, and now we're planting the seeds. We've got 5 rows that we've got to get done. Shouldn't take us too long now. So we're gonna go up halfway up a row, and we'll change varieties of lettuce. So we'll have 6 varieties total in these 3 rows. And then we've got a full row here of spinach, and then Trinette is planting Swiss chard, and up above the Swiss chard we'll have just a few feet of kale. And so this will take us, I don't know, maybe an hour to get all these planted. Hopefully not too much longer than that. All right, we got the garden all planted, and so we've got all of the lettuce planted in these and other leafy greens in these 5 rows, and we've got red varieties and green varieties of lettuce kind of near the center. We've got the onions planted. We got 1,000 roughly onions planted here. Red onions and sweet onions. And then over on this end, we've got 2 plastic rows of beets. And then, as we talked about earlier, peas, carrots, radishes on the outside open furrows. So you might be wondering, why didn't I plant everything all together? All of the early root vegetables and leafy greens all in one spot. There's a reason for it, and it's kind of the timing of when these vegetables and greens start to phase out for the season. So over here on this side, on the far end, I'm going to have zucchini. And that's one thing that plays a role in it. The lettuce and stuff will phase out in the early part of summer. The Swiss chard, I'll let that go because I won't till it under, because I can get the Swiss chard to come again in the fall. I just whack it down, and it'll kind of die down in the summer, but in the fall it'll keep going. So I don't do anything with this. But these rows, when the spinach and lettuce, when they're all dead, I'll pull up the black plastic and I'll till them under again, and I'll put new plastic down, and then I'll plant, I'll wait till later in the season when the timing is right, and where the lettuce and things used to be, I'll plant butternut squash. So that way all of my squash varieties are in one area. And the reason for that is, over on this end, when the beets are done and the radishes and everything else are done, that gets tilled up. And then I plant my watermelon varieties and, cantaloupe and things over there. And the reason why is I want my melons separated from my squash so that they don't cross-pollinate when the bees are in the garden pollinating everything. If you got them right next to each other, you can get an awful tasting cantaloupe if it cross-pollinated with a zucchini or any kind of squash. And even though, they're in the same garden plot, but they are separated enough that it's not that big of a deal. So that's why I have certain things over here and certain things over there, is so that it's planning for later in the season when they're done. Since they don't last all year long, I can get another rotation of a different crop. So that's the reason for that. Later, these will be bell peppers and hot peppers and things. And then over here, all of these other rows that we haven't done anything with will be tomatoes. They'll all be one variety in 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 rows. This row will be cherry tomatoes and different things for salad, different varieties. So that's the reason for that. So another day done. Wore us out. It's a lot of bending over, putting a lot of seeds in. But we got it done. So it's good to know that we're done planting for the spring. Come March, sometime in March, we'll be in the greenhouse planting all the seedlings, all the tomatoes, the peppers, eggplant, all of those kind of things. And then watering and taking care of those. So that'll be a different video I'll do. When the garden's starting to sprout, I'll do you an update on that one. I'll do an update on that and show you how they're doing as they sprout. And then again later, as things are maturing and we're finally harvesting the greens, and I'll show you how we mix them up, bag them, and sell them in our produce stand. So thanks for watching again. We appreciate you checking into our channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it if you haven't yet, and be sure and leave a comment, ask us any questions, and we'll try and answer them in a video, or in the comment section we'll reply to them. So we'll catch you on the next one.